Back with another Bible in a minute. Genesis 28. Yes. So this chapter starts off with Isaac sending Jacob away to his mother's household family to find a wife. Meanwhile, Esau decides to jab his dad in the eye, and instead, he's already got two wives, I believe they're Hittite, and so he decides to just kind of make him angry, and he takes another wife, and this wife is from Ishmael's family, and so I would assume Ishmael and Isaac don't live that far away, because Esau goes and gets a wife, because he knows that the Canaanite women marrying one of them is not going to be pleasing to his father, so he does it, just to be a bad son. So Jacob takes off, and he goes to sleep in a field one place, puts his head on a stone, super comfortable there, falls asleep, and has a vision of God. And so he has this dream. It's called Jacob's Ladder. Angels ascending and descending from heaven to earth. And suddenly the Lord is standing right next to him. And so God reminds him of the promise that God had made Abraham and reinforced it with Isaac, and now is saying, this promise belongs to you. The land on which you're lying, I will give to you and to your descendants. He said, in verse 15, look, I am with you. I will guard you wherever you go. I will bring you back to this land, because I won't leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Well, God hadn't promised Jacob. God had promised Abraham, but God attributes that promise that he gave to Abraham and then to Isaac, now to Jacob. And so then Jacob wakes up, and what he says is very interesting. He says, truly, the Lord was in this place, and I didn't know it. Now, I've heard a lot of great sermons and very persuasive, the Lord can be in this place, and you don't even know it because you're not right with the Lord. Well, Jacob really wasn't right with the Lord either, if you go back and read what he did in previous chapters. But God still chose him. He's chose him in his evil actions sometimes, because God had made a promise. And so God is, I think he's testing Jacob, and he's trying to turn Jacob from his conniving ways. He won't completely, because of what happens with Jacob and Laban in future chapters, and how Jacob does manipulate some situations which we'll get into later. But anyway, crazy situation here. And then it ends with this bizarre thing that Jacob says to himself in verse 20. He says, Jacob takes this vow, if God will be with me and will guard me on this road that I'm traveling, giving me bread, providing food and clothes to wear, so that I return to my father's house in peace, then Adonai, the Lord, will be my God, and I'll give 1/10 of everything that I earn. So, it's a conditional vow that Jacob is making. If God does all of these things, then he'll be my God, and I'll serve him, and I'll return 1/10 of everything I earn. The dude's got guts to talk to God that way, because God has just made a promise to him. He says, I'll do it. I'll guard you. I'll protect you. I'll bring you back to this land. And Jacob says, okay, if you do that, then you'll be my God. Jacob is crazy. Read the chapter 28, and let me know what you think.